Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Guys at Magic. This is Hunter, Steven, and Shane. Say what up, boys.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, nerds,
people,
guys, boys?
sorry.
Wow. Well, we are back this time. Welcome back to another spoiler season. We are looking at new cards from Wilds of Eldraine. That's right, going back to Eldraine. Got a whole bunch of spoilers for you to talk about today. It is day one, and as always the most. So, before we get started, just want to remind you guys just to hit that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. We are close to 7,000 subs. Help us get there. That'd be cool.
Oh, damn.
Let's go ahead and start with some of these cards. Got new mechanics, got new cards to talk about. First up, Expel the Interlopers. It is 3 and 2 white for a sorcery. It says choose a number between 0 and 10. Destroy all creatures with power greater than or equal to the chosen number. So we kind of have like a Fell the Mighty type thing.
Little versatile bird web, dude. Cool.
Yeah, what do you think?
I love this.
Love it.
Yeah, it's going straight into my defender deck.
This is just a better Fell the Mighty, correct?
I mean, it depends. I mean, choose a number between 0 and 10. I mean, a lot of options there. I'm not gonna lie to you, man.
I think
Yeah,
you probably wanted to save, your creatures, so maybe you can just hopefully name a number that isn't on your side of the board.
Because Fell the Mighty, I know it's only 1 white pip, so I mean, I guess there's flexibility there. But you have to choose a target creature's power and destroy everything higher than that. This just hits it at a number.
Yeah, I mean, this is at a number. I mean, I do enjoy Fell the Mighty a little bit more, I think. Just because I can just pick a target creature, so it doesn't even have to be my own. And at least most of the time when you pick that target creature, you're guaranteed to keep that one, so...
But if it's not your own, why would you let them keep it?
Because maybe I'm trying to politic my way to victory, baby.
I mean, regardless, you could still name the number of the one that
Yeah.
you're targeting. It's the same thing.
That number, you have to do something bigger than target creature's power. I don't know. Expel the Interlopers gets around that. This is just a board wipe. Pick 0. Moving on to a new saga. This is 3 blind mice. 2 and a white for a saga enchantment. Its first lore counter says create a 1/1 white mouse creature token. Second lore counter says create a token that's a copy of target token you control. The third lore counter is create a token that's a copy of target token you control. And the fourth and final lore counter says creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain vigilance until end of turn.
Not gonna lie.
Make a mouse, give him a 1/1.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I swear to God, I thought there was like a glitch in the Matrix for a second because I didn't see that there was a third lore counter, and he said the same thing twice, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm losing it."
Hunter's lagging. This just goes into your token decks, right, Hunter?
Does it?
It copies a token of anything. You don't have to be a mouse.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you're right. It does copy a token of another target token. So if
Yeah, sure. It gives you the first mouse, but then the next two, you don't have to pick the mice, dude.
Make angels.
You can make 4/4 angels. Make two copies of them. Then next, give them all +1/+1 vigilant. Like, this card seems rad.
So I guess if you're gonna go with that strategy, this should really read: create a 1/1 white chump blocker.
There you go. And then just create whatever else you want. I like it.
How cool is the art with the mice holding eyeballs?
And they're
Slightly
blind. It's bad.
terrifying. If I'm not, if I gotta be honest with you,
She's about to murder them, dude. That's really bad.
Maybe because they stole her eyes.
I mean, you see the eyes behind her too.
It's like there's a lot going on here. Dude. I don't like any of it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Shane. 3 blind mice, that second and third lore counter. Make any token you want. Hell, you can even do treasures if you really want to.
You sure could, bud.
Next up, Virtue of Knowledge. It is an enchantment that has an adventure clause. The adventure clause is Vantress Visions, which is 1 and a blue. For an instant, it says copy, target, activated, or triggered ability you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. But Virtue of Knowledge also can be paid for 4 and a blue. It's an enchantment that says if a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. How many times are we going to see that stable on a card every new set?
I mean, I'm glad it's in blue this time.
Yeah, I like it too. I like the Adventures coming back too.
Adventures, yes.
It depends, man. I mean, there's a lot of good cards that could be fun for ETB abilities. Like, I know this with like Venser, Shaper Savant would be really fucking sick.
Yeah. Vantress Visions, that instant is also pretty good for a triggered ability you can copy.
Yeah, dude.
I just
kinda
love
like-
adventure cards because it is 2 for the price of 1. Like,
Yeah,
I get 2 cards in my deck essentially for 1 card.
that's what I was gonna mention. That you can just you said 105 mana is a lot, but if this is just sitting in exile waiting, like wait till the end game, dude. Just cast it for its Venture's Vision and then just have it stick around until you have nothing to do on your turn.
Yeah, you're right. The flexibility of having which part do you want to use right now when you draw this card is pretty nice. Adventures, pretty cool.
I like them.
Moving on to Beseech the Mirror. It is 1 and 3 black for a sorcery. It's got Bargain, a brand new mechanic, which means you may sacrifice an artifact, enchantment, or token as you cast this spell. It says search your library for a card, exile it face down, then shuffle. If this spell was bargained, you may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost. If that spell's mana value is 4 or less, put the exiled card into your hand if it wasn't cast this way. We have a tutor that can just play something.
If you do sacrifice a token of any variety,
Yep.
that's pretty nuts, dude.
People are talking about this in standard already. It's like, okay, so I'm going to play like a 1-drop, and it's going to make a blood token. I'm going to play Beseech the Mirror, and I'm going to cast Shieldred. I'm just going to find it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Seems pretty
I
nuts.
don't really know what else to say about this card. It's a tutor, and it's good.
But if you're not
Very good.
bargaining, is it that good?
It's a pretty expensive tutor if you're not bargaining, but I feel like you're probably always bargaining, let's be honest.
I don't think anyone's playing this without bargaining
Yeah.
for that card, dude.
The bargain ability is going to be pretty clutch, I think.
I mean, maybe like late game, you have nothing to like sacrifice. You could always use this to still find whatever you need in your deck, but I think it's just too strong as that bargain.
It's true.
Yeah.
You can also find anything you want. It doesn't have to be mana value 4 or less. It's just if you want to cast it, it has to be.
Yeah. But no, hey, Hunter. Free spells are always good.
Free spells aren't? Yeah. I mean, yes. This is free spell, I guess.
Yeah, careful what you're about to say.
I was going to say, you're not reading the card because I'm reading the card.
Next up, Lich-Knights Conquest. Steven, I have a feeling you'll like this one. 4 and a black for sorcery. Sacrifice any number of artifacts, enchantments, and/or tokens. Return that many creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield.
You're not wrong. I do like it. Is it like my favorite? I don't know. I think black has a lot of these effects, and having to sacrifice a bunch of stuff to get all those things, I mean, isn't really that fun. Now, granted, I really love like what's the name of that card? Shit, I forgot now. Is it Living Death? Is that the one that brings everything back? Sacrifice everything. This is a really fun card, though. I don't see anything wrong with it. Yeah, it's kind of fun, exciting, new.
Kind
Yeah.
of reminds me of that. This reminds me of like one of those ultimatums. You were just bringing everything back from your graveyard, but this kind of seems harder to pull off.
Yeah, I mean, if you're running an aristocrat strategy, this is like kill
A
all
Lust
your
Inkling.
fodder, bring the pieces that actually care about back from the grave that your opponent's probably killed because they're annoying
true.
engines.
Well, they got to be tokens. Hopefully, all your fodder's tokens. Hopefully.
Oh,
It
absolutely.
doesn't have to be token.
Well,
It tokens, enchantments, or artifacts.
right. I'm
But
just thinking
more
aristocrats,
than likely-
lands, creatures. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be sacking those little 1/1s.
I don't know, I've seen David like with the past couple like deck techs, so many artifacts in those things, man. Like the things he makes is nuts. So this is kind of a fun one to put in anything kind of like that.
True. Let's move on to the Huntsman's Redemption. It's another enchantment saga that costs 2 and a green. Its first lore counter says create a 3/3 green beast creature token. The second lore counter says you may sacrifice a creature. If you do, search your library for a creature or basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. The third and final lore counter says up to 2 target creatures each get +2/+2 and gain trample until end of turn.
I think it's cool, I guess. But so what? You're just kind of like getting rid of your creature to go get anything you want out of your library, I guess, right?
I mean, either a creature or a land. Not really anything, but pretty much.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
so you can
you're gonna
sacrifice a
find the
creature, then go get a
creature rather
creature.
Yeah, so you're going to play
Unless
the
you-
3/3. Next turn, you're going to sack that 3/3, find a better creature.
I mean, I enjoy this card. I think it's a really fun one. It is a 3-mana card and it makes you a 3/3. Now, if you don't have any other creatures to sacrifice and somebody kills that 3/3 you made, it's kind of shitty.
Yeah, it's kind of shitty. It
And
reminds
then
me
what? You know, you hope to God you played something else instead of sacrificing that creature, and then it gets +2/+2 next turn. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, hopefully before this drops turn 3, you'll have something else.
true.
I don't think I would play this turn 3 if I'm honest with you. I think I'd be too afraid of somebody, hitting the creature that I'm going to try and sacrifice.
And then the rest of it just does absolutely nothing for you.
Yeah.
It's a possibility. I don't know. It's a weird one. Moving on to Realm-Scorcher Hellkite. 4 and 2 red for a 4/6 creature dragon. It has bargain. It's got flying and haste. It says when Realm-Scorcher Hellkite enters the battlefield, if it was bargained, add 4 mana in any combination of colors. As another ability, we can pay 1 and a red. It says it deals 1 damage to any target.
This card is great.
It's pretty good.
It makes
Yeah.
it cost 2, basically.
If you bargain, yeah.
If you bargain, yeah. That's nuts, dude. That's
I mean,
2 mana,
literally
4/6
costs
flying haste.
2 when it comes in,
Yeah.
flying haste, and then you can use the extra 4 mana just to deal 2 damage to any target.
I could see this in like some kind of mono red strategy in Standard Hunter. What do you think? Like just super aggressive.
I don't know about mono red. Mono red's always just like low to the ground. This
Well-
seems like pretty late game.
Well,
Maybe
I
in a
guess,
dragon
yeah.
deck.
But here's the thing, though, Hunter. I agree with what you're saying, but like, does this actually come down in mono red? Just because the fact that there is that one card that when you play it for 1 red, it creates a blood token and then deals 1 damage.
Sacrifice that
Right.
and then pay 2. Get this. Like,
You still have to pay 6 to play this, though. That's
Yeah.
really late
true.
game in mono red.
I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm dumb. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't know if this is actually a good card. I mean, it reads really good, but you still have to pay the initial 6.
Absolutely. Yeah. For some reason, I was thinking you just to pay 2. I get you get the mana back though, at least.
You do get the mana back, and it could be any combination of colors. So it's nice that if you wanted to cast something else of a different color, go ahead.
I think
still be
this
good,
might
though.
slot into my Dragon deck.
There you go.
There you go. Dragons, man. Dragons are good. Moving on to Elvish Archivist. It is 1 and a green for a 0/1 creature elf artificer. It says whenever 1 or more artifacts enter the battlefield under your control, put 2 +1/+1 counters on Elvish Archivist. This ability triggers only once each turn. And whenever 1 or more enchantments enter the battlefield under your control, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. The card pairs extremely well with Smothering Tithe.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because if people aren't paying their taxes on every player's turn, this is getting 2 counters every turn.
Well, I always pay my taxes.
I pay my taxes, dog.
I think this will get huge immediately with that card in play.
I just hate the fact that it's once each turn, but I get it.
I mean, dude, if you don't do the once each turn, it's like you said, Shane, it's gonna get stupid, dude.
Yeah, you just chain off. This would be massive.
I like this card. I mean, it comes down pretty early, and then obviously, if we're talking commander-wise, a lot of artifacts are usually coming onto the field. I think this starts off pretty small and might go unnoticed for a little while.
Is there still that enchantment deck in Standard Hunter?
Celestial
yeah.
enchantments. Oh yeah.
Would this fit in there, you think?
I don't know, because right now it's just too good.
It's
There's
pretty
nothing
tuned,
you
yeah.
can change.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Maybe if something rotates, which it won't happen.
I mean, if I have to give you a solid answer, I'm going to say no.
I mean, it's always good that it'll cantrip, but I get it, yeah.
I think it's a pretty good card. I like it a lot. I know it only does just once per turn, but good card is good still.
Good card is good. First time saying it.
Moving on to one of the main characters of the story in a set. This is Eriette of the Charmed Apple. It is 1, a white and a black for a 2/4 legendary creature, human warlock. It says each creature that's enchanted by an aura you control can't attack you or planeswalkers you control. And at the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, where X is the number of auras you control. Look at that. This is more of like a curse deck.
I like it.
I'm getting a little itch.
I I like
And
the
a little
second part a
itch.
lot because you can have so many auras. But then how many auras are there that you can just cast on other things? Like I know they exist, but are there like enough?
There's a lot of curses, like I said. I don't know
Right.
if we're talking commander real quick. I don't know in this color combination.
Yeah. Well,
But
yeah.
there are different new role tokens that come in as auras, which are interesting.
I guess that's true too. I didn't think about that with the new stuff coming out. Okay.
We have yet to talk about that, but we will in the video. Stay tuned.
Yeah. I think that this when we crunch the numbers and see how many we can actually because like that top ability seems really strong, can attack your planeswalkers. But if there's just not a critical mass, then maybe it's not even worth it. But the bottom part, I like that a lot.
I just don't think that they build this as a. Sorry, I'm going straight into Commander. I apologize. I don't think that they would put this into Magic unless they had enough to play with it. Does that make sense?
I mean, they sometimes do shit like that. Like back when food first started coming around, you really had to like kind of grow into food, you know. But no, I get it.
I think it's a cool design.
I do too.
We'll see how it plays, and of course, once again, we will talk more when we get to our commander grades on this set. So stay tuned. Next up, Agatha of the Vial Cauldron. It is a red and a green for a 1/1 legendary creature, human warlock. It says activated abilities of creatures you control cost X less to activate, where X is Agatha of the Vial Cauldron's power. This effect can't reduce the mana in that cost to less than 1 mana. You can also pay 4 a red and a green. Other creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain trample and haste until end of turn.
Jesus Christ, it's awful.
And
Sorry,
there's no way
the
to like
first.
bump her up.
Oh, there's plenty of ways to bump her up, man. It's gruel.
I mean, on the card itself, I like commanders that like activate themselves. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, build around it.
I just like 6 mana to give everything trample. I mean, I guess if you're building like a go wide deck to a certain extent, I mean, this is gruel. So obviously, you want to swing with everything, but just 6 mana to do that is aggressive. Like, you have to basically put a giant creature down and then pay 6.
It's definitely interesting. That's for sure. I don't know. I don't know about this card either.
Well, actually, think about it. It'll cost less if her power is greater because it's an activated ability. So it could just cost gruel.
God damn it, Shane, you got me.
Great point, Shane.
Shane, you did the thing.
I read the card.
You read the card. Yeah, but I agree with you there, Shane, that it can't pump itself, which is interesting. I guess that would break itself.
It would just do too much, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
This seems cool though.
Yeah. Speaking of another cool card, I like this next one. This is Hylda of the Icy Crown. 2, a white and a blue for a 3/4 legendary creature human warlock. This is whenever you tap an untapped creature an opponent controls, you may pay 1. When you do, choose 1. You can create a 4/4 white and blue elemental creature token. You can put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, or you can scry 2, then draw a card. Love this card design.
I love the card design too again, but it's the same thing where like unfortunately this card itself doesn't do the tapping, which sucks.
I'm sorry, Shane. Are you telling me I have to build around the deck?
I am, but it's like, dude, I want my commander to at least do like the thing that it wants to do. But yeah, I know.
It's a very powerful effect, though.
This is a very powerful effect.
This is a great effect, dude.
I like it.
Especially with all the stun counters we're getting
This
around
is
now,
going to
dude.
be a menace.
Yeah. When I first saw this card, I was like, ooh, I think I want to build this. So we'll see. But we will, once again, talk more in our Commander Grades video once the entire set is spoiled. Stay tuned for that one. But
hey, so
I think we're all on board with Hylda of the Icy Crown.
Yeah, Hunter, you're always picking the Scry 2 draw card, right? Always.
Oh, yeah, dude, totally. Moving on to Kellan, the Fae-Blooded. It is also an adventure card, so you can actually cast it as Birthright Boon, which is a sorcery that costs 1 and a white that says search your library for an aura or equipment card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle. Then, of course, Kellan the Fae-Blooded also costs 2 and a red. It's a 2/2 that has double strike. It says other creatures you control get +1/+0 for each aura and equipment attached to Kellan the Fae-Blooded. Guys, Boros equipment matters.
Dude, no, but this is really interesting. Unless I'm just dumb. Because this could be your commander. and if you pay for its adventure cost and it goes into exile, do you ever have to pay the commander tax?
You do not pay the commander tax, but you have to pay the commander tax on the adventure part.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, so you're always going to have to pay +2, +4, however times this has died, gone back to the command zone, for either the adventure part or the creature part. But if you do pay the adventure part with the extra commander tax, it does go to exile, and it will still only cost 2 in a red.
Interesting. That's kind of cool. That could be cool for other adventure cards coming on in the future.
We will see more in this video.
Do you
Steven,
like it,
what do you
Steven?
think?
I'm just gonna go with what you said, Hunter. Boros equipment.
They're not really straying from the color pie, I will say.
Yeah, they like to continue to do the stuff that they
I mean,
always
what
continue to do.
I guess what I will add to this though is I do love the fact that you have a tutor and a commander in the command zone, all in one.
True.
Also, yeah, dude, put the pants on your commander. It's got double strike, and then everything around him gets big too. Like, this could be pretty nutty, right?
Yes, it could be pretty nutty.
Yeah,
I think this would be really fun and standard too, to be honest with you.
it
Yeah,
probably
it
could.
probably will be. But equipment matter decks and standard, they don't. I have not seen one take off. It's a very slow strategy. You gotta pay
Well,
that
we'll see.
cost to equip, but we will see. Moving on to Rowan, Scion of War. It is 1, a black and a red for a 4/2 legendary creature human wizard. As menace, you can also tap it. Spells you cast this turn that are black and or red cost X less to cast, where X is the amount of life you lost this turn. Activate only as a sorcery. This
Hey,
screamed David to me when I first read it, and then he was like, "I love this card," and I knew it.
hey, David, what do you think?
I love this card.
I'm gonna build it.
I already built it. I built it the second it got released. I already have 4 decks built around it.
Dude, we all sound like David. That's super weird.
That's super weird.
I think we can all say that the card is powerful, but it's definitely catered towards David. I wish he was here to talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, Steven, you might like it too. I don't play this kind of deck, so.
I
Seems
mean,
cool,
I'm
seems
not
powerful.
a big Rakdos player, but this is a good card.
Yeah,
How
I agree.
about the exact same card in different colors? We're moving on to her brother. This is Will, Scion of Peace. It is 1, a white and a blue for a 2/4 legendary creature human wizard with vigilance. And you can tap it. It says spells you cast this turn that are white and or blue cost X less to cast, where X is the amount of life you gained this turn. Activate only as a sorcery. Look,
Probably not
same,
as
but
good.
different.
Yeah, same, but not. I mean, maybe.
I really
think I
wish
like-
this was like a partner pairing.
That'd be really cool, actually.
Yeah, in the story, they kind of like got into a little scuffle. They lost their spark because they had a planeswalker spark that was shared between them. They lost it in the war. And now here we are. They're separate. They're trying to do their own thing. Their parents died.
Get it together.
I know.
If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Rowan has always been red and Will's always been blue, right? So I guess adding a little extra color, pretty fun.
Yeah, dude, she went to the dark side, and he was like kind of the good guy.
They're trying out some new stuff, dude.
They're having parent issues, okay? Let them figure it out. Moving on to a card with a new mechanic as well. This is Faunsbane Troll. It is 2, a black and a green for a 4/4 creature troll. Says when a Faunsbane Troll enters the battlefield, create a monster roll token attached to it. What does that mean? Well, enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has trample. You can also pay 1, sacrifice an aura attached to Faunsbane Troll. Faunsbane Troll fights target creature you don't control. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. Activate only as a sorcery.
They had to ruin it with that last part.
You can't do any shenanigans here, man. New mechanic, roll tokens. So they're auras, but they go onto a creature and they all have their own role. It reminds me of them trying to do like the party mechanic in a weird way.
I thought party would just get the different types, and then they do something.
It's true, but this, in general, the role tokens, your creature can only be one role, is what I'm trying to say. Like, it's D&D, right? Right, Steven?
Yeah, kind of.
You can't
Kinda
attach
D&D-ish.
multiple roles to a creature?
You cannot. Most of the time, it'll say, if this has a role, remove that role.
This card doesn't say it.
It's because you're attaching it to this. So, when it enters. Otherwise, it'll say, give it to something else. You'll see it in a card later.
Yeah, it just
There are
Okay.
7 roles, actually, Hunter. Did you know that?
Yeah, there's a bunch of roles.
Technically 6, 7 if you count Commander.
sweet.
Moving on to Lord Skitter's Blessing. It is 1 and a black for an enchantment that says, when it enters the battlefield, create a Wicked Roll token attached to target creature you control. It says enchanted creature gets +1/+1, and when this aura is put into a graveyard, each opponent loses 1 life. It also says, at the beginning of your draw step, if you control an enchanted creature, you lose 1 life and you draw an additional card. Fancy. I feel like this would go nicely into some Fairy deck that's being made later that we'll talk about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an
Okay,
interesting
Steven.
new mechanic.
So we've seen 2 rolls now. What do you guys think of roll?
I'm not sure yet.
I like to roll the dice.
Indecisive. It seems like a strong ability. Seems like it's going to be more fun in standard than it would be in another, like EDH or something. But
It's going to really make Enchantment Matters decks hum even more, especially
Yeah.
with those constellation triggers, right, Steven?
I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. I think that this is going to be a interesting mechanic for sure.
Let's move on to a card that we saw at Comic-Con, Shane. This is the Goose Mother X, a green and a blue for a 2/2 legendary creature bird Hydra. It's got flying, and it says the Goose Mother enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. And when the Goose Mother enters the battlefield, create half X food tokens rounded up. And whenever the Goose Mother attacks, you may sacrifice food. If you do, draw a card. This was the most talked about card coming out of Morrow's San Diego Comic-Con panel that me and Shane had the opportunity to go and see. He just showed a picture of a Goose Hydra.
I mean, it was talked about because it was a Goose Hydra.
Exactly. Well, now we have the card itself, the Goose Mother, and it's pretty good.
Hey, if you're trying to make food tokens, my guy, seems like a very good way to make food tokens.
Yeah, it's and card draw and big and flying, by the way. That's no joke.
And it's in Simic.
And it's in Simic, Steven. You are damn right.
What do you think of the Goose Mother, Steven?
I mean, it's in fucking Simic.
Do for the
You
memes
love
or what?
Simic.
I mean, I
This-
don't even think this is a meme deck. I think this is
Yeah.
actually a really viable deck, especially coming just right out of Lord of the Rings, with food being such a popular little thing in that set. I think this actually is really aggressive. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Hey, David called it. He said there'd be more food in this set, and so far, here we are.
So far, this makes a shit ton, or sorry, potentially a shit ton of food.
Speaking of food, moving on to the next one.
Great segue, Steven. This is Sir Ginger, the Meal Ender. 2 generic mana for a 3/1 legendary artifact creature, Food Knight. It says Sir Ginger, the Meal Ender, has trample, hexproof, and haste as long as an opponent controls a planeswalker. And whenever another artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Sir Ginger and scry 1. You can also pay 2, tap it, sacrifice Sir Ginger. You gain life equal to its power.
All right, let's do what David likes to do. Okay, I'm gonna deep dive the card.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna do it my way though.
Okay.
2 mana, 3/1.
Mhm.
Good. I like that. I like this. I don't care if it has a little butt. First piece of text. Stupid. Unless you're playing against Super Friends. Then it's actually really, really good. Second piece of text. It's actually kind of nice. I like this. Anytime you can do some artifact shenanigans, really good. Especially when you sack it. It does go to the graveyard. Get a +1/+1. And then you get to gain life. Man. This card is great.
The card's on flavor. This card, if you guys remember from the original Eldraine trailer, this was the one that was like attacking Garruk. because he came in and ate her mate, the other gingerbread man.
Ginger Brute.
Remember that?
So that's why it's like it has trample, hexproof, and haste as long as there's a planeswalker. It's flavorful there. And then you can eat it to gain life. I think this card is awesome.
Card's fantastic. I
Seems
love
very
it.
fun.
Flavor all day long. And like
Yeah.
we've said before, do it for the memes.
Anytime you sack a treasure, this is getting a counter and you're scrying. That's so good. Let's move on to Beluna Grandsquall. It is also an adventure card that hits first part if you wanted to cast it. It's Seek Thrills. It is 2, a green, a blue, and a red for an instant that says mill 7 cards. Then put all cards that have an adventure from among the milled cards into your hand. But of course, Beluna Grandsquall is also just a green, blue, red for a 4/4 legendary creature giant noble. It's got trample, and it says permanent spells you cast that have an adventure cost 1 less to cast. We have an Adventure Matters guy.
This
Regardless.
card is great.
This would be
It's
a really
missing
fun
2
commander.
colors.
Missing 2? Oh, you want it to be 5 color?
I'll tell you what, just 3 mana for a 4/4 with tramples, not bad.
This could be an interesting build, dude. If you build it into, I mean, I'm first thinking EDH, but even in standard, it could be fun. But EDH, this could be a fun commander to build around.
Yeah, we've seen plenty of adventures so far. We got some more to talk about in this video. This is a Adventures Matter commander. But of course, we're not going to talk about commander too much. We're just teasing you guys at this point. Once again, stay subscribed, and you can watch the Commander Grades video when it comes out. But let's move on to Decadent Dragon. It is also an adventure. You can pay the adventure, which is Expensive Taste, which is 2 and a black for an instant. It says exile the top 2 cards of target opponent's library face down. You may look at and play those cards for as long as they remain exiled. And of course, Decadent Dragon is 2 and 2 red for a 4/4 creature dragon. It's got flying and trample, and it says when it attacks, create a treasure.
This card seems really good.
It seems decent to me. I feel like I wish I had haste. This reminds me of Goldspan, but it's like not Goldspan.
Yeah, it's not as good as Goldspan, but they wanted to make it good, so they put that little adventure there, and there we are.
Why do you think it's so
Steal
good,
stuff
Shane?
from your opponent. Because I think it's anytime you can mess with your opponent like that, it's great.
Here's my problem. It doesn't say you may spend any mana to cast those spells.
Well, you can not. It says play.
True, playing means cast.
So you can just play their lands, dude, and then start taking their spells.
Hey, you play their land, and then you cast a spell with their land. How disrespectful can you be in Rakdos?
Mm-hmm.
You guys are living in Christmas land. I love it.
Plus, it's making token or treasures, dude.
I mean,
Those
what do
crack for
you
anything.
mean living in Christmas land? I mean, even if you do hit 2 lands, you're still ramping.
Are you ramping? You're not ramping. You're not ramping
Why?
at all. That's not ramp. You're just playing a land.
I mean, it's 2 guaranteed land hits.
That's not
Yeah,
ramp.
it's not a ramp, but it could be jacking up your
ramp.
opponent's land.
Sure, you can steal their land. Yes. I don't know. I don't think this card is as powerful as what you guys are saying.
I think.
Not on board with Decadent Dragon here.
I mean, we
But
don't
we'll
have.
see if I'm wrong.
We don't have an effect like this in standard, dude. This could be very good.
There's this effect all the time. You got Siphon Insight, where you can
I'm
steal
saying
stuff.
Goldspan is not in standard anymore, right?
No, Goldspan's not in standard.
There you go.
This also doesn't have a haste.
Dude, so what? Just don't let it die.
Easy enough to do. Let's move on to Blossoming Tortoise. It's 2 and 2 green for a 3/3 creature turtle. It says whenever Blossoming Tortoise enters the battlefield or attacks, mill 3 cards, then return a land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Activated abilities of lands you control cost 1 less to activate, and land creatures you control get +1/+1. Look, guys, we care about lands here.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, it's in a Simic land deck and you'd be chilling.
I really like this card.
Yeah.
You can play 4 of in standard. But how good is that? I don't know.
Don't play enough standard anymore.
I don't play standard at all.
I know.
I like
But I like
standard a
it.
lot. I play every
Oh.
day.
Well, I like this ability hunter, so seems
I-
good.
I don't know if I like this ability.
Why not?
Well, like I don't know. You're really building around this card, right? You
No, I
want
think
a
you're
lot
throwing
of
this in a
land
land deck.
creatures.
Yeah. I don't think you build
Okay.
around this card. I think the deck would already be built, and this would go in that deck.
Hmm.
I think.
Maybe. I don't know. Blossoming Tortoise is interesting. We'll see if it sees play in standard, but I don't agree that they should have put this at Mythic. This is a rare, in my opinion.
Maybe it was that mythic for storytelling purposes. I don't know.
Nah, nothing in the story about a blossoming tortoise. Moving on to a new instant. This is Farsight Ritual. 2 and 2 blue for an instant. It's got bargain. It says look at the top 4 cards of your library. If this spell was bargained, look at the top 8 cards of your library instead. Put 2 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. I don't know if
Whatever.
this card's good.
Help me. What's that card that was
It's
Simic?
Memory Deluge.
Memory
This one's
Deluge.
better.
Yeah.
Memory Deluge is better than this.
But you can look at more on this one.
You can look at one more if you sack one thing, I suppose.
Yeah. How's it better?
You look at 4 more things.
Yeah, I don't know. You can look at because you can look at again with Memory Deluge, the flashback.
True. But I'm just saying, like, for the same mana price, you can look, instead of having to flash it back, you can just on the first cast look at 8. I mean, it seems good.
Yeah, this will be the new staple for sure once Memory Deluge gets rotated out.
Yeah, I would agree.
But we'll see. They do need to bargain that something though, and a lot of the times, Memory Deluge being so good, you don't need to sacrifice anything to play it. I don't know. It's still being able to see 4 is nice too.
Yeah, very much. And it's very playable.
Moving on to a new land. This is Restless Cottage. It enters the battlefield tapped. You can tap it to add a black or green. You can also pay 2 and a black and a green. Restless Cottage becomes a 4/4 black and green horror creature until end of turn. It's still a land. And whenever Restless Cottage attacks, create a food token and exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. We got attacking cottages, guys.
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah,
I
we
like
do.
that last text, dude.
You like it?
A lot.
When it attacks
Graveyard
with a
hate,
food?
dude? 100%.
Graveyard
Yeah.
hate for 4 mana?
Well, in standard, that's very doable. Like,
Yeah.
this is a standard effect, like, to a T.
Man lands are very good in standard.
100%.
I don't play
This-
standard.
This will see play.
This will 1000% see play.
I like it. 4 mana to make it a 4/4. That's good. Good value.
Too
And
bad it doesn't get
food.
anything else, you know? But then that'd just be too much.
It
If
might
I can,
be
like,
too much.
trample
Meh.
or some other shit.
Meh.
Man, hey, when you're kind of stalling out, man, turning a land into 4/4 is pretty good.
I don't stall.
Well, if you played standard, you might. Good card, good
don't.
though, dude.
Moving on to Thunderous Debut. It is 6 and 2 green for a sorcery that also has bargain. It says look at the top 20 cards of your library. You may reveal up to 2 creature cards from among them. If this spell was bargained, put the revealed cards onto the battlefield. Otherwise, put the revealed cards into your hand, then shuffle.
What?
Way better
What
than fucking Farsight Ritual, dude.
dude?
Look at the top 20, baby.
This should just say go and find 2 cards.
I mean,
I
what I
wanna
will
see
say
you,
is,
dude.
go ahead, Shane.
I just want to see. I want someone to play this, and I want to see you reveal 20 cards.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
wait.
this is worse in EDH, but I think in standard this is nuts.
This is like
This is like half
quarter of your
deck.
deck. Yeah,
By the time you play, it'll be a half.
yeah.
I don't know if it's good though. I think the text reads and you like, oh my god, top 20. It sounds amazing. But it's still 8 mana.
If you have a way to cheat this out for free somehow in standard, this is like a game-winning ability.
You still have to bargain though.
Yeah, sure. Destroy a little
Otherwise, they
token.
just But I
I
don't
feel
know
like
if
I'm
you
always
can
just
cheat it out and bargain. I don't think you can do that.
why?
Because if you're cheating it out, you're not casting it, are you?
Oh shit.
Sorry about it.
Thunderous Debut.
Thunderous Debut, Steven. What do you think?
I think it's great. I think it's good in EDH or if we're talking standard. I really do like this card.
Yeah, I like it on EDH too. Just what David said that the whip potential is a lot less here, dude. 20 cards.
It is a lot less, but it would still suck if you still whiffed.
Yeah, this would have to win you the game because that's a very expensive card.
For sure. Let's move on to the other things I talked about today, and that is the face commander and backup commanders of the 2 decks that are coming out. This first one is from Virtue and Valor. The face commander is Ellivere of the Wild Court. It is 2, a green and a white for a 4/4 legendary creature, Human Knight. It says when it enters the battlefield or attacks, create a virtuous role token attached to another target creature you control. It says if you control another role on it, put that one into the graveyard. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control. And whenever an enchantment creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Sounds fun. We got the Role Commander. What do we think about this as a card, Jane?
I think that if Virtuous Roll is good, this could be good. But again, I feel like we need to play with these roll cards, dude, because it seems like I'm just playing enchantment auras. That's all I'm really doing. They're just like dressing up enchantment auras in a new clothes.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a good color scheme for enchantments and auras. I mean, green, white is great. I mean, obviously, Sithis. I mean, we're talking commander now at this point, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's only commander.
Yeah. So, I mean, Sithis is hands down the number one commander for that kind of style. Do I think this card, is going to outbeat Sithis? No. I do love the virtuous role just because for each, it's basically kind of like Voltron in a certain way. It's actually kind of cool. And then when enchanted creatures deal damage, you get to draw cards. I mean, it is kind of fun. Are there cards that do enchantments better? And that's kind of how I look at it. So, obviously, we're not talking about how good it is, but just the card in general.
I'll want to. What am I trying to say? I'll have to play because I feel like making a decision without playing it. But I don't know. It seems like a fun card.
How about the backup commander? That's going to be Gylwain, Casting Director. It is 1, a green and a white for a 2/3 legendary creature human bard. It says when it or another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, choose one. You can create a royal role token attached to that creature, or you can create a sorcerer role token attached to that creature, or you can create a monster role token attached to that creature. I think it's pretty interesting.
Seems like a lot to be remembering.
You're guaranteeing enchantments coming in, though, which is, I think, I mentioned it earlier with the roll thing. Constellation is no joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so Royal, for those that don't know, gets +1/+1. It has Ward. Sorcerer is +1/+1. Whenever it attacks, you scry. And Monster is +1/+1 and has Trample. So, I mean, all 3 good effects.
I do kind of like this card, though, because you're getting more for just playing the creatures you're going to be playing anyways. You don't have to do anything special, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think these are 2 very interesting cards. Again, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. You can definitely expect the $100 and $300 upgrades. After these decks are revealed, we will get to work on them very quickly. Speaking of upgrades, we will also be upgrading the other one, which is Fae Dominion, helmed by Tegwyll, Duke of Splendor. It is 1, a blue and a black for a 2/3 legendary creature, Fairy Noble. It's got flying and death touch. It says other fairies you control get +1/+1. And whenever another fairy you control dies, you draw a card and lose a life.
It's a lord.
It is a lord, Shane. Very solid fairy commander.
Lord.
Lord.
Is it Tegwyll or is it Tigwyll?
Who knows, dude? It's a name.
I'm just sticking to it. I'm reading it how I see it.
I wish this was like David's other fairy deck where it procced and made fairies itself. But I get it. Build around it.
Build around it.
If this card made fairies, though, my goodness.
It would be
Well,
kind of broken.
You're about to be mind blown.
The backup commander is Alela, Cunning Conqueror. It is 2, a blue and a black for a 2/4 legendary creature, Fairy Warlock. It's got flying. It says whenever you cast your first spell during each opponent's turn, create a 1/1 black Fairy Rogue creature token with flying. And whenever one or more fairies you control deal combat damage to a player, goad target creature that player controls.
I like this one.
Demir goading. Kind of different.
The other one was really cool, dude, but this one, this is what I'm talking about, because I want my commander to be creating the things that I'm caring about, and this card does it. And you're playing on other people's turn, which I want to do too. I like this card a lot. I hope David picks this one.
I mean, this
Spoilers.
is very reminiscent to me of like Nimrus, Una's Trickster. Nimrus is basically, it's a flash commander, and then whenever you cast your first spell during each opponent's turn, you look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of those cards into your hand and the other into the graveyard. I mean, it's really just kind of like reminiscent of like flash cards. So building a flash fairy deck is going to be kind of fun.
Hell yeah, dude. And you can start goading too, which is awesome. So all the little fairies you're making, you're going to be attacking in the air. So they probably won't be blocked as often. And start just goading stuff, dude. Like that's
Goad one thing.
People are not going to like you, dude.
Unless you're attacking multiple players, you can only goad 1 per player.
Yeah. Well, swing a fairy at everyone.
Swing a fairy at everyone. You get a fairy, you get a fairy, you get a fairy.
Yep. Love it.
Well, that is going to do it for us today. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Before we wrap up, Shane, what is your favorite card we talked about today?
I'm not going to lie, dude. I like a lot of these cards. But I swear, dude, I really like Alela a lot.
The fairy from the
Yeah, I really like it, dude.
Precon. Okay. Steven,
Well-
do you have a favorite card?
Well, I'm not going to cheap out and go with the commander option.
What?
Just kidding, Shane. But no, I'm not going to cheap out. I'm going to go with Hylda of the Icy Crown. For sure.
Aw, that was my favorite.
Aw.
Aw. All right, I'll take my second favorite, so we're not the same. My second favorite is actually Sir Ginger, the Meal Ender. I like that card a lot. Not just for the memes. Comment down below. What was your favorite card talked about in spoiler season so far? Did you guys like these cards we talked about? What do you think of the new mechanics? Always interested to hear what you guys have to say. In the description, you will find links to our social media accounts. That's TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Follow us on those to keep up to date with everything else that we got going on. Because not only do we talk about just the rares and mythics in the videos, but we do post to our Instagram all of the commons and uncommons if you wanted to follow along as they are announced. And until the next video, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.
Later.
Bye-bye.